getting closer to that holiday season. Hope you're doing well, and hopefully you're doing your last minute shopping, like most people are, I would imagine, at this time of year. Like I said, a good sports show today. Excited to bring it to you. Excited to talk about it all here on this wonderful afternoon. Big thanks to Tony D for tossing it to us in the previous hour. Tony D's show, Sportsline Bulldog Hour with Tony D from 2 to 3 p.m. on the weekdays. From 2 to 3 p.m. on the weekdays. You can listen to him on 1430 ESPNFresno.com and on the ESPN app, which, by the way, currently right now is the only way you can listen to us at the moment. Appears there's a power outage by our tower right now, and nothing you can do, folks. It's lovely people at PG&E just trying to get it back up. So hopefully we'll get it back at some point up later tonight for you. In time for, I would say, second half of Monday Night Football between the Steelers and the Dolphins. But you can listen to our content right now here on the streaming side of things. We're also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, so that's another option you can do as well. So be sure to tune in there on our ESPN Fresno platforms on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Good show today. You want to get in on the conversation? Lee's Air Hotline 559-320-1430. We want to hear from you. Be sure to call in. Bring your opinions. We'd love to hear from you. Get in on the conversation here on 1430 ESPN. Lee's Air weather check. It's just another cloudy day here in Fresno. 51 degrees is the temperature as we speak. Cloudy throughout the day and afternoon. And folks, it's winter. It's winter. It's what it is. If you want to see the sun, I recommend doing what I did this weekend. You head down to LA for a day because it was nice and sunny down there. So maybe that's what you figure out and do. We'll talk about my trip to the Rams game coming up momentarily. What are we talking about today? We got 2 hours Reaction Monday, as we do. It's going to be a good one. We're talking all the things that happened over the weekend, including some NFL action. We got a lot to discuss with the NFL, what it means 3 weeks till the playoffs, and the picture, I would say, is getting clearer of who is going to be in the tournament. But where and who are going to be playing each other is a much different conversation right now. That is where the drama is being led at the moment. We'll do my Who's Been Naughty, Who's Been Nice. We'll discuss all the big topics here on a 15th of December. A lot to get into. Good to be joined by one producer right now. He's riding solo. He's doing everything he needs to do to get this show ready and rolling. But Jorge right now is out at the tower site trying to figure out the power situation. So we got Tim Veer here riding solo with me. Tim Veer, how are we doing? How was your weekend? I think that's the question I always ask on these Mondays. So how was your weekend?
Yeah, a lot of my friends came back from, their colleges, so fun to have them in town. We're going to be playing a bunch of basketball, a bunch of football, so that'll be totally fun. A little bit of stress on Sunday with the Titans-49ers game, but ultimately, 49ers coming out with a big win, went to Doghouse yesterday, so yeah, I can't complain.
Yeah, there you go. We'll talk about that Niner win and get perspective on that one in a little bit in this hour. But I think I would be hard-pressed to not start with the big game yesterday, the game I think you and I think we both had as the number one game last week.
Yep.
In terms of how we felt about it. And that was the Lions and the Rams matching up in SoFi. And congrats to the Los Angeles Rams. They clinch a playoff spot. The one team in the National Football Conference right now that can say they are going to the playoffs for sure. Although I say this very cynically, it's I feel like we know all of the teams that are in outside of one, but at least we know that the Rams officially are in with 3 to go. But a big win, 41-37 over the Detroit Lions in what was a very interesting football game, to say the least. First of all, got down there and I got the feel of the game around it, surrounding it, and could feel like this would have been a really big offensive battle. We previewed it, talking about who are the big matchups, who are the big players that were going to be impacting in this game as far as is concerned. I was very concerned about Jahmyr Gibbs' potential impact in a game like this against this against this Rams defense and what the Rams could have done defensively to slow down this Lions attack. Now, it wasn't like they shut down the Lions per se, and really it felt like, oh my goodness, the Lions are playing as good offense as they can, even despite what they had in the first half. Amon-Ra St. Brown was ridiculous over the middle and running those crossing routes that Jared Goff could find. Jared Goff was untouched in that first half in terms of pressure, and the Lions, outside of missing a kick to begin the game, did not look like a team that was not going to be stopped, scored. They were going to keep scoring throughout this one. In terms of the Rams, were going to have to play the catch-up game. Aiden Hutchinson with a ridiculous pick in the beginning parts of that game that set up the Lions' first score of the game as well. But then things kind of changed in the third quarter. The adjustments being made. The Rams, of course, playing the possession game a little bit longer in terms of a 6-minute touchdown drive, forcing the Lions to, 6-minute field goal drive to go down up to, it was 20-24 at that point. Lions then have to punt after a sack, the first sack of the game on Jared Goff, starting to get pressure, starting to kind of realize the way they can attack this Lions team, getting ahead of their guys, getting in front of their guys, and being more sure on the tackles there in the open space. And then, of course, Puka Nacua was just as sick as anybody in terms of how he was able to find the second level and make it happen. 181 yards last night for Puka Nacua in terms of his most in a game, including the playoffs. The other game he had 181 was against the Lions in that wild card game in the playoffs in his rookie season. So Puka also eclipsing the 100 reception mark as a player. Only one other wide receiver, I believe, has had consecutive 100 reception seasons for the Rams, and that's Torrey Holt, if I'm not mistaken. And the Rams offense really laid the hammer down in terms of what I thought was a susceptible defense at a certain point for that Lions team with the injuries and what they were facing in terms of that. And it was an impressive second half from the Rams to really take over that football game. And we'll talk about the Davante Adams injury aside of it, but my impressions were that was the best win of the Rams season this year, wholeheartedly comparatively to what they did in the first half versus the second half. How about another 500-plus yard performance from the offense as well? It's hard to believe this Rams team has weaknesses when it comes to their game. And I thought the Lions played like a A-, B+ game, and that was the result in terms of it. So I was just impressed with the Rams in their win yesterday. I know, Tanvir, you were following along as you could throughout the afternoon. But from someone who was in the building and watching this one play out, I am more impressed with what the Rams have turned into as a team, especially, I would say, the defensive adjustments for sure in the second half to just hold them. There were really 3 meaningless points in the second half for the Lions. I thought it impressed me the most.
Yeah, and even going out of the Carolina Panthers game, I still thought that the Rams looked like the most dangerous team in the NFL, and I think this game just solidified that for the entire NFL. I think that the way that the Rams can win so many different types of games is going to help them so much when it gets into the playoff matches. I think they match up really well with every team that they're going to face in the NFC, especially. I don't know if there's a quarterback out there that's truly going to test them through the air and on the ground. But the Rams in this specific game really showed me how good their passing game can be. And Matthew Stafford, I think, once again solidifying 368 passing yards, 2 TDs, 1 INT. He is by far and away the MVP of the NFL, and I think that this Rams team is really clicking on all cylinders going into the most meaningful part of the year.
And what it's fun to go to a game and kind of really like feel the decision making as it goes along in certain spots. Early portions of the game in this one, Rams faced a 4th and 4, and Stafford went to Nakua and converted that on an early drive that led to a touchdown.
Yeah,
same drive
after he dropped it.
Yeah, same drive, 4th and 8, went to Nakua on an out route that was able to just barely beat his guy in terms of it. And Stafford talked in the postgame about how symbiotic him and McVay are in those decisions, and knowing that they are prepared to go for it in those situations because they trust that situation the most in terms of it. That's a dangerous team too. When you feel like you make a stop, make it go 4th and 8 at the 40, and the Rams are like, we can get 8 yards. We trust we can get 8 yards. We got guys who can beat guys to go 8 yards and go get it. And that was early in the game. It wasn't any gotta-have-it situation. And so when you think of the gotta-have-it situations for the Rams, outside of the ending of Carolina, the Rams have been nearly perfect in that situation in terms of it. Outside of the end of the Niner game, it's been kind of the first Niner game I think of at Thursday night when they had the gotta-have-it 1 yard. But the concern now, obviously, I think everyone will go to that news of Davante Adams pulling up on the hamstring on a deep pass, and you knew it right away. I'm like, oh, it's that hamstring that he was dealing with. He just broke out of the route a little too much, and McVay talked about how it was just kind of a little re-aggravation, but Davante feels confident that he could play on Thursday. You could argue that the Rams would really like to have him for sure on Thursday, I would imagine, but I don't know if hamstrings are fickle and how that'll feel, especially when you're traveling for an possibly important, just the most important game, I think, in the NFL season right now, left on the schedule, which is what Seahawks and Rams will feel like on Thursday. But am I concerned about the Davante Adams injury? In the long term, in terms of what the Rams can do in the playoffs, I would say no. I think he will be back in time enough to do what he has been doing and unlocking what he's been unlocking in this offense. What has been nice is the Rams have found Colby Parkinson suddenly as a tight end option, and immediately when Nakua and Davante went out, Stafford was able to find Colby Parkinson for a touchdown to really kind of put the game away. So it's nice to see other options kind of showing up. Is that a long-term answer? I don't think so. But like I said, it could be a rest 1 week and get ready for the final 2 games of the season for Davante. I think that's most certainly what I would feel like is going to be the decision. But it's interesting to see how the Rams would adjust to that situation most often. But back to the Davante side, I mean, if I'm a Rams fan, I'd be slightly concerned because now it's a lingering thing as opposed to one that just kind of pops up out of nowhere. And I know I would love to have him on that Thursday, and I know Thursday is as big of a game for the Rams to win as it is in any situation. So, Tanvir, what do you kind of think of that as far as the Davante injury toward the tail end of that game?
Yeah, I think that for the Rams, this is not necessarily going to affect them long term, as you said. I think the other point that I want to make is the receivers that they have behind Davante Adams, even if he is not able to play, have been in the system for such a long time that they will be able to seamlessly just fit into whatever offensive system they want to play in Seattle. You have Tutu Atwell still there. Jordan Whittington has been there for a couple of years. So I'm not necessarily concerned in that aspect. But I also think that these are injuries that can re-aggravate themselves pretty easily. So if Davante Adams really wants to put his best foot forward into the playoffs, I don't know if you would play him in this game, even though it's probably the biggest game left on your schedule. I fully think that Matthew Stafford will still be able to play at the highest level, even though this is a very good Seattle Seahawks defense. But I have more concern short-term than long-term for sure.
Here's what McVay said in postgame. I have the quote in front of me. Adams was optimistic talking to him, speaking of Adams. He knows his body really well. We'll see what that means. I can't imagine that's good for Thursday with just the short amount of time, but I certainly won't rule him out quite yet. But it doesn't look good, but it didn't look good. That's what he says, quote unquote. But I do understand McVay as he feels like as a player's coach of anybody in terms of that. He knows his body really well is something that tells me you are a pro in this NFL for so long now with what Davante Adams has been since, 2014 in the NFL, 11 years. a guy who he could be the first NFL player in history to lead the NFL in receiving touchdowns with 3 different franchises, by the way. Shows that I think McVay can show trust to Davante. If Davante says he's good, then I would say Davante is good. And, even in, I'm not saying Davante the decoy on Thursday. Maybe that's as good of a threat as you can offer in terms of this offense. But if you have a 75% Davante Adams out there as opposed to the 100% Davante Adams, which I don't know if we'll see on Thursday, but I would lean to the idea, like, is it worth just to have him on the field if Davante says he's good to go, which he'll tell you probably he would be ready to go.
I think he would say that just because he's a competitor and he wants to be out there regardless of the situation. I personally would not play him on Thursday.
I wouldn't play him, but I know if this was Puka who said my hamstring is, I know my body and it's like that, I wouldn't trust Puka because Puka hadn't been there. It's 3 years of Puka, 2.5 seasons of Puka, but it's like 11 years of Davante. And like he's been around the ringer, he's been around it all. And to me, I give leash to those guys, like what the Niners do with like Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey, like the guys who've been around there for a long time and know what their body reacts to in different situations. Puka had cramps yesterday. It's like I don't know what I get with Puka in terms of that, but I'm not trying to blame Puka like that. But like when it comes to a threshold of player, I think at a certain point, I kind of let him be his own doctor as opposed to me trying to feel like I need to rest him in some certain situation.
Yeah, it's definitely based off of trust, and maybe they meet in the middle and just have him on a snap count, and at the end of the day, just so he doesn't re-aggravate it. But I think this is a Rams team that has the Super Bowl in its sights, and I think anything that could possibly, damage that would be something that you don't want to do. And I think that you could really hurt your playoff chances long term if you lose Davante Adams for a longer period of time. And I still think that this Rams team can beat the Seahawks without Davante Adams, and so therefore I think you wouldn't play him. I think they got to lean on this running game. The Seahawks have been really good at stopping the run over the last 4 games. The only 100-plus rush yard game was against Atlanta, and they blew them out by like 30-plus points.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand on this specific situation with Davante Adams.
The Rams have been rushing the ball very well too. I think they had something like 140 or 150 on the ground.
Yeah, it shows 159 between Kyren, Corum, Nacua, and Stafford.
Yeah,
so 149 without Stafford and Nacua.
They've also had 8 rushing touchdowns over the last 3 games. They're most in a 3-game span since the 2001 season in week 6 through 9. They're converting in the goal-to-go situations, which is kind of nice to see from the Rams side a little bit in terms of the run side, because it was a little bit of a question mark for me of how much of a push they can get in front of that as well. Corum on a nice edge run to the outside, just beating the speed of the Lions defense was nice to see. Kyren just going in, standing up on 2 touchdowns. That's got to feel great in terms of it. And like I said before, the tight end position, Colby Parkinson, who you can argue all you want about the touchdown grab, whether it was or wasn't. To me, I'll be completely fair and honest. The discussion in the room leaned touchdown, but I think it was because he didn't really quite catch the ball yet until he was in the end zone. Like he had it a little bit and then it bobbled, and then finally when he got to the end zone, he caught it. I'm not trying to, I don't know if I'm arguing with anybody here. I saw a lot of Twitter discourse about apparently this is a touchdown in the National Football League. I'm like, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought it was a valid call, regardless. Anyways,
one random one. He missed Terrence Ferguson down the side.
Oh
that
my
one
God.
was a for sure fire.
There was a big groan in the that was Stafford getting a little jazzed up for an open guy. But
yeah, great route concept though.
Yeah, it's there, man. This Rams team, it's there. It's theirs for the taking right now. I cannot move away from them being the number 1 team in the NFL right now.
I think it's their Super Bowl to lose at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah, we could talk about Denver maybe a little bit later in the show, but
maybe the better way to say it is it's their NFC to lose.
Yeah.
Even though the NFC is tougher than the AFC in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think the Rams are by far.
I'll just be straight up honest with you. It's the NFC West and then the rest of the NFC to me. It really is.
Agreed.
Outside of the Cardinals.
Year 3 in a rebuild at 3-11.
Yeesh. All right. Let's take a break. Let's continue the show. Hour number one. We're taking you up to Monday Night Football on 5 o'clock. So stay with us. More Sports Talk on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
The holidays are rolling in, and Valley Pure is here to make every celebration brighter. Whether you're picking up gifts, prepping for gatherings, or treating yourself to a little seasonal joy, Valley Pure has the quality and freshness you count on. And here's the standout holiday offer you can't miss. Tell your bud tender you heard this radio ad and grab a Valley Pure or Cowgirl 8th or a 1-gram vape cart for just a nickel with any purchase of $50 or more. Valley Pure has shelves full of premium flower, smooth vapes, and all your festive favorites, ready to help you elevate every moment. And remember that incredible nickel deal is waiting as long as you mention this ad at checkout. 1 redemption per customer. Make your season unforgettable at Valley Pure. Don't forget, mention this radio ad for your nickel deal. Valley Pure or Cowgirl 8th or 1-gram carts with a $50 purchase. And Valley Pure Tulare now has extended hours every day from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Visit valleypure.net to find a location near you.
So winter's officially here, and the last thing you want is your house cold and your furnace sounding like it's auditioning for a beatboxing competition. That's why Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating is running their $99 furnace tune-up special. It's the perfect time, because nobody wants to see their breath inside the house. And let's be honest, layering 3 jackets indoors isn't festive, it's desperate. So get ahead of the cold. Schedule your $99 furnace tune-up today at leesair.com. That's leesair.com. Happy holidays from your locally owned and operated Lee's Air and Heating. CLN 635-355.
At Helena Agri Enterprises, we're committed to helping you make the best agronomic decisions for your farm. That's why we combine cutting-edge technology with superior product. Helena's agri-intelligence solutions use in-depth analysis to identify potential problems in the field before they take root. Combined with a complete line of high-quality crop production and crop protection inputs, Helena has the tools to help you increase productivity, enhance performance, and maximize your return on investment. Contact your local Helena representative or authorized dealer to create the right plan for your farm with Helena products and agri-intelligence solutions.
Fall is here, and it's time to get moving at Valley Athletics. Phil Bonatti from Behind the Bench telling you about new programs coming up. Starting soon, you can sign up for monthly memberships for K through 8th graders working on volleyball, basketball, and strength and agility. It's as little as $15 per class. Speaking of sign-ups, the great facilities there are always available for rentals, including birthday parties. So take advantage of that today, especially as we get to those colder months. You can find all the sign-up information on the website valleyathletics.co. Valley Athletics, developing the athlete in everyone.
Introducing The Sidebar, a brand new open-air beer garden at Me and Ed's Coney Island Grill in River Park. Experience a new way to catch a game, hang with friends, and enjoy new appetizers, char-grilled burgers, salads, wings with over 10 house-made sauces, and of course, world-famous Me and Ed's pizza. Thirsty? Try our self-poured taps with over a dozen craft beers, wines, ciders, and craft seltzers. Plus a full bar with an impressive selection of tequilas, whiskeys, and craft cocktails. The Sidebar at Me and Ed's Coney Island Grill, now open in River Park.
Ever wonder where those large box stores get their green and orange racks? How about equipment or auto parts store shelving? Well, you guessed it. Fresno Rack made it right here in California. Since 1987, Fresno Rack and Shelving has been helping school districts, businesses, cities, and counties, basically any market anywhere, increase their warehouse storage with industrial racking and parts shelving that last a lifetime. Call, visit, or click FresnoRack.com today.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, Valley's local sports leader. Here on this Monday, Reaction Monday, December 15th, we talking NFL here for you in the Central Valley. Reminder, this is really the last full week of shows for me. I'll have a Monday show next week, and then we're off for the holidays. I'll be back the following Monday and then off for the holidays again. So kind of a strange little schedule we got going on. But I hope you all enjoy whatever time you're getting off. But last full week of the show, we got some good guests lined up this week, so I'm excited about it in terms of that. I'll tease a few of them here as we roll along. All right. I was at the Rams game, of course, so I was kind of locked in. We did have, they had the red zone. You could put up an iPad. We had the red zone there. We were kind of paying attention to what else was going on in the league. I think everyone of most interest was looking at the Seattle game, mostly in the press box. But, of course, we're a Niners station here, and the Niners getting a win yesterday, 37-24 to the Titans. Niners moved to 96% chance to make the playoffs, 19% chance to win the NFC West, according to ESPN Analytics. But really, I mean, the path is as straightforward as it can be for the 49ers if you are a Niner fan trying to work out the math here with it. And that is, quite simply, you need the Seahawks to win on Thursday and the Niners to win out. It's just as simple of a formula as any. It's just a big if on what happens Thursday. That's why we make Thursday the biggest game of the year in terms of what's determining the NFC. But outside of that, 49ers, of course, see a victory 37-24. Purdy, I would argue, his best game of the year in terms of him most being in control of the offense out of anything. It's nice to see what he was doing. He had the swag back a little bit more. I think if I'm a Niner fan, that's where I lean to first for this game. If I'm looking at the positives of just how in control Brock Purdy felt in that game, to a point where he's doing some silly stuff. We'll talk about the scramble where he pump faked defender. I don't know what was going on there. But outside of that, Purdy with the jump pass touchdown to the end zone, all that kind of stuff. He's feeling good and playing well. Especially, it is the Titans, and that's where you maybe are like, well, it was the Tennessee Titans. We'll see what he can do against maybe better defenses like, Indy plays better than Tennessee. We know that for sure, and what Chicago can present. But, Danveer, I think that's where I go first in terms of storylines. Brock back? I think Brock's back.
Yeah, I think Brock has always played best when he is the most confident, and it looked like he was lacking confidence in that Carolina game, but over the last couple of weeks, he has definitely started to really key in on what makes him so good. The scrambling ability has improved vastly. I think the ability to convert on third and longs over the middle of the field was something that Brock Purdy was so good at, and I thought he lost it a little bit in the first part of this year, but over the last two games, Cleveland and Tennessee, he's played pretty well. So I like what I'm seeing out of Brock. I still think that the ability to pass the ball deep down the field needs to return like he was doing a couple of years back. But overall, a good game. And you need to win games like this in the way that they did, and the offense performed how they should have. Put up 37 points, and they've been playing pretty well over the last couple of weeks. It's the opposite side of the ball that I might have a little bit of worry about. But, Purdy overall, yes, I thought he played really well.
You want to hear what his stats were? 10 yards downfield throwing?
Yep.
In this game yesterday, 8 for 12, 152 yards in a TD with 10 yards downfield. Season high for such completions, by the way, for Brock. And I think that was the concern we were talking about. Like, we didn't really see him push it the last couple games outside of the, what it was. But it's that kind of ability now. Although we're seeing some news, and I think Kyle mentioned it in his presser today. I don't know if you've seen it. Ricky Pearsall might be a little more concerning of his injury situation now again. I got to pull up the tweet I saw from Niners reporter Nick Wagner. He's the ESPN NFL reporter for the Niners. He said, Kyle Shanahan said, quote, there is a concern with Ricky Pearsall's injury status, but Shanahan said it, quote, shouldn't rule him out for this week, quote, but the knee combined with the ankle makes it tough. He said he likened it to the Mac Jones injury situation. Shanahan said, quote, it's really painful for a while, but it can go away. Not at all like it was the first it did, but it does take time for that pain to go away, hopefully sooner rather than later. Thankfully for the 49ers in that case, you have as long of a rest as you possibly can between this game and the next one if you're going to play Monday night against the Indianapolis Colts. So that works to the Niners' favor, but, you get Ricky back. He produces the way he does, and unfortunately, you may lose him again here for at least a game, and that's kind of the little turd in the punch bowl if we're going to talk about it. Because let's be frank, what the Niners need to do is threaten the downfield passing game a little bit more, right? Like you said, Tanvir, especially against defenses like we've seen that are going to be playing in this playoff side. Like, what can you stretch Seattle's defense in a way? Can you stretch the Rams' defense in a way? Can you stretch Philly's defense in a way? How about Chicago's? We're very fascinated in what happens Week 17 and what the Niners matchup looks like in against Chicago. So maybe losing Ricky here for a week might stink, but hopefully it's not a long-term thing.
Yeah, and the reason why it sucks is Ricky is so good at the routes that are beyond the linebackers in front of the safeties, which is what Brock Purdy's bread and butter pass is. And you saw it. He was doing very good at those deep dig routes, and Ricky was open in front of the safeties, and Brock was doing really well. But it's on the receivers that are healthy. It's not a situation that the 49ers have not faced earlier this year, so it's not as concerning to me as it was early on in the year, because I feel like this team has been hardened to the point where it's like, all right, injury arises, next man up at this point. So I still hope that for the playoff run he comes back, because I truly think he is our best wide receiver. But the 49ers, I think losing Ricky Pearsall for this game is going to be tough.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I lost my thought a little bit.
No, Jorge, sorry. I thought Jorge was telling me something. I thought he was coming in to come help us out. We're dealing with the issues again with the tower. Reminder, that's why we're only on air with the streaming side of things. I think PG&E called. Jorge, do you hear me? You got an update? I want to know if he's got an update. Actually, I want to know if he does have an update. So if he can hear me, maybe he can come in and at least. We're on air right now, but you got an update for the tower? You're going to head back? Okay. We got power. We're restored. So hopefully we're back officially on the air terrestrially for an little while. This is how we do it on the show. I just keep it very transparent.
Just like the Niners, you got to go with this backup plan.
Exactly. Let's go to the defense side, though, because let's be honest. I think there was a little frustration, I would imagine, over what you saw out of this defensive unit once again. Cam Ward, 18 for 29. I don't think that's the glaring issue here. It's more Tony Pollard with 100 yards on the ground. You're going to be facing some good running teams over the next couple of weeks, right? Jonathan Taylor is no joke for the next Niners defensive threat. And I think there's some concern of regression here a little bit with what the Titans were able to present at 24 points output here against this Niner team. It was a comfortable enough margin for this Niner team to win by, but you ain't sneaking it by when you're playing teams like that have offense, like we just said, that are going to be in the playoffs, like the Rams, like the Seahawks, like Chicago, like Green Bay. That ain't going to fly if you have that kind of performance like you did against Tennessee.
Yeah, and I think that the 49ers defense, injuries and all, have still played pretty well in certain games. Obviously, this was not one of them, and little frustration is underselling it for me personally. I was very frustrated with how this team was playing. So I think the linebackers and the secondary definitely can fix themselves. I think the secondary, first of all, they need to come up with the interceptions when they have it right in their hand, and that's a big issue. Malik Mustafa had one right in his hands at the end of the first half, and he did not catch it, and that allowed the Titans to score or get into scoring range at the end of the first half. My biggest concern is the complete lack of defensive line pressure for this team. They can't stop the run at the defensive line position. That's on the onus is on the linebackers to stop the running game in a lot of these games, and they've been playing pretty good, but you can't just rely on those guys. But the pass rush is horrendous. No Nick Bosa, I totally understand it. And this forces Robert Saleh to go into blitz packages a lot more, which I know that the 49ers are not a regularly blitz-heavy team. So it's very concerning on that aspect that Bryce Huff, Alfred Collins, and those boys can't necessarily get any pressure, especially against this Titans offensive line that has been known to really give up a lot of pressure.
This is Cam Ward's first career game where he hasn't been sacked. It was yesterday.
And I will say, Cam Ward, as I said before this game started, he's played against some pretty good defenses, so I didn't think that this was just going to be a walk in the park in terms of that aspect. I think Cam Ward played all right, but yeah, the pass rush is just horrendous right now.
Best rating for Cam Ward as well, 101.2 in a game this year. No interceptions. We were asking for turnovers from this team. I don't believe the Niners generated a turnover yesterday.
Had 2 in their hands, and they just dropped them.
And that's the frustrating part about it, right? Because if you're a Niners team and you're going to be a 6 or 5 seed or win this division, what changes things more often in playoff games is when the turnover battle happens. And frankly, that is my greatest concern of this Niners team, is the lack of ability to flip a game on its head in any form or fashion defensively, because you're asking the offense to be perfect that way because you're not gaining possessions in the football game. And that is where I sit with this Niners team, where I want to believe every bit a part of this team is as talented as the Rams and the Seahawks. But we know what the diametric difference is between those two teams and this Niners team is that they just don't gain the ability to change momentum as much as any other team. It has to be the offense plays perfect for a while and the 49ers just kind of find a way to get a victory, as opposed to the defense winning football games for them, because clearly it won't this postseason if it doesn't figure out how to do so. But, I say this all the time. You are who you are eventually after 15 weeks, 14 games. And I don't know if 3 games in the rest of the season could change that. But the Niners, that is my biggest concern going in the playoffs, and I think it still is my most valid concern of the playoffs for the 49ers.
Yeah, it's just a talent aspect, in my opinion. I think Robert Saleh has done a phenomenal job with this defense, and, they've put out pretty good performances against some good offenses. They had a really good performance early on in the year against the Seahawks and the Rams.
Yeah.
They had a good performance against Carolina. But, yes, I agree with you. If this team wants any shot at playoff success, it's going to have to be a big play by the defense. And are there players there that can make big plays? The situations are right there. It's for these players to capitalize on these situations, and sadly, they just have not been able to do that. I know I'm kind of making a big mess of a big win ultimately, but it's crunch time at this point, right? You have 3 weeks left in the season. The playoffs are right around the corner, and you're not going to be able to change anything. A positive is the offense has been playing out of its mind these last 4 weeks. But, yeah, I have great concerns about the defensive line especially, but maybe with getting Yetur Gross-Matos back in the future, Tatum Bethune maybe coming back, maybe that aspect can improve.
The Niners currently have a worse turnover differential than the Titans, the Raiders, the Browns, the Saints this year. All of them have -4. The Niners have -5. And I don't think it's that the offense is turning the ball over. It is simply just
the inability to intercept the ball.
Any sort of takeaway whatsoever. The Niners sit at currently I'm looking at it right now. Hold on. I have it in front of me. The Niners have 14 takeaways. The only teams that don't have as many. God, the New York Jets still have not had a pick.
Yeah. They're approaching the Niners record for most games in a row without an interception.
Oh my
and so I think if they end the season, I think it's actually next week, if they don't get a pick, they'll surpass the 49ers.
Who do the Jets? Oh, they play Tyler Shook and the Saints. I'm interested in that.
2-game winning streak Saints. Come on now.
Yeah, the Saints. Break up the Saints. God, if Drake May throws a pick against them in 2 weeks, I'm going to jump off a bridge.
Please don't.
I would. I consider it. I'm not coming home for Christmas. Anyways, no, that's a big concern. Is the run defense a concern? You mentioned it. The run impact as well. Tony Pollard, like we said, 104 yards rushing. He also had 8 receptions. He's coming along a little bit for the Titans as far as that's concerned. But outside of that, it's we know it feels like the Titans are kind of an easy team to read. It's Mike McCoy, for God's sake. The guy is not an offensive innovator. He's just here stopgap kind of coach in terms of that. So Is there concern like a Jonathan Taylor next week and what the Monday night game presents? I know it's Phillip Rivers, and I know the Colts did as vanilla of an offense as you probably see in terms of their team and the way they played against Seattle. But is there any concern of you facing this Colts team with the run game they can produce against this Niners defense?
You know, the weird thing is I have been concerned for the entire year. We've played some really good running backs, Kyron Williams, Bijan Robinson earlier in the year, even K9 and Zach Charbonnet. But teams have just not been privy to running the football a lot against this team. I know in the last couple of weeks it's because the 49ers have gotten out to leads with the offense, and so that forces the opposing team to pass the ball more. But I think if there is a team that goes out there with the game plan that we are going to run the football, I think they can have a lot of success against these 49ers. But that hasn't necessarily been the case over the last couple of weeks because the Niners offense has just been that good in scoring points early and putting teams in deficits.
Yeah. We'll see. Niners got a week till they play. It's going to be fascinating to dissect it ahead of next week's game, which we'll preview. We'll have at Major Wager, of course. By the way, Major Wager tonight, Dolphins and Steelers. Be sure to be there at Me and Ed's Victory Grill. All right, let's wrap up this hour next. Let's put a bow on that, and we'll continue the show. Behind the Bench rolls along on 1430 ESPN.
Welcome to A+ Signs.
Thanks. Yeah, I need some custom exterior signs for my business.
Great. What's the name of your business?
C+ Signs.
Wait, you own a sign company?
Yep, C+ Signs.
And you want us, A+ Signs, to make your signs?
Yeah, I need them really fast, and we can't touch our turnaround times.
We are kind of known for that.
For signs that stop traffic, drive traffic, and even direct traffic, call A+ Signs.
Remember, A+ has great technicians to service and repair signs, too.
Yeah, we got a guy, but he's afraid of ladders.
From the roar of Valley Children's Stadium to the heart of the Red Wave, Fresno State football ignites the Valley, and Precision Civil Engineering is proud to help power that momentum. Named 2024's best engineering firm by the Business Journal, Precision Civil Engineering delivers top-tier planning, surveying, and design building, the backbone of the Central Valley. Proud partners of Fresno State Athletics, because when the dogs rise, the Valley rises. Go Dogs! Visit precisioneng.net today. Are you an athlete ready to level up your performance the raw way? Introducing the Raw Athlete Program from Raw Farm. High schoolers, college athletes, gym warriors, and pros, Raw Farm wants you to see why professional athletes and nutritionists are fueling up with Raw Farm raw whole milk to hit their team goals and personal gains. Raw Farm is the best 100% A2 cream top from seasonally grass-raised cows, non-GMO, certified humane, 100% made in America, and crafted for serious gains. Visit rawfarmsusa.com to learn more and find it at your local Sprouts location through the nation.
Bulldog basketball is back and heating up the Save Mart Center. Don't miss any of the exciting action as both the men's and women's basketball teams take on the Mountain West this season. Make sure to bring the whole family to root for your hometown Bulldogs as they compete for that Mountain West championship Fresno would love to bring home. Tickets start as low as $5 for select games. Grab them at GoBulldogs.com today, and we'll see you at the biggest party in the Valley. Go Dogs!
Get ready for the ultimate Monday Night Showdown, only at Chukchansi Gold. Starting September 8th through December 29th, win your share of $80,000 in giveaways, including $51,000 in e-cash. Earn entries all day Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. Then join us for drawings every Monday from 5 to 8 p.m. Swipe your rewards card during the game inside Firehouse Lounge for a free entry into over $28,000 in prizes, including football gear and more. Game day starts here at Chukchansi Gold.
Quick, where can you find a great selection of Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Serta, and Mattress First bedding? Easy. The same place you'll find adjustable beds, sheets, pillows, mattress protectors, and more. Sleep Retreat, inside fashion furniture. It's the same place you'll find 150 recliners, custom upholstery, leather sectionals, dining furniture, and even office furniture, not including thousands of decorating ideas that you're really gonna love. Fashion Furniture on El Paso, across from River Park. There's nothing like it in all of California.
I'm here at the Roger Dunn Open. Former Fresno State football coach Pat Hill is at the first tee.
Hey, it's a fairway hit.
Yeah, but that's the wrong fairway, Coach.
I need to buy a golf game.
Coach, I really think you need a Roger Dunn makeover.
When you buy a game at Roger Dunn, you can play anybody, anytime, anywhere. This is the old coach, Pat Hill. I bought this 7-iron at Roger Dunn Golf. Number 8 at Tehama, 162 yards out. Eagle, baby!
Hey, it's Phil Bonatti from Behind the Bench. As the weather cools down and the action heats up in the sports world, that also means that sometimes more slips, hits, and injuries. Just like in sports, when life knocks you down, you need a strong team behind you. That's Davis and Van Wagenen, attorneys at law, right here in Fresno. They've helped Valley families recover and win the compensation they deserve. And you don't pay unless they win. Visit DavisVanWagenenLaw.com. Davis and Van Wagenen, your hometown injury attorneys.
The Sharks need a change. Celebrini wants that headman pass. On the right wing side, it's Klingberg crisscrossing with Celebrini. Nice move by Klingberg. Moving in. Back for Macklin. Back to Klingberg. Shot! Score! John Klingberg from Macklin Celebrini. The entire Sharks bench empties as the Sharks roar back from a 5-1 deficit. And John Klingberg wins it in overtime 6-5.
How about that? Sharks over the weekend. That was pretty cool, wasn't it, on the Saturday? Of many different sport weekend things that happened over the weekend, I had to play that highlight for y'all. What a remarkable comeback from the San Jose Sharks over Saturday. So I know we were talking NFL for a while, but man, first time in franchise history the Sharks come back from down 4 in the third period to win a hockey game ever. Sharks have been around since I've been alive. So we're talking about some crazy stuff here in terms of it. What a remarkable remarkable comeback for this Sharks team, especially when it came to, the circumstances. Will Smith getting injured in the third period. Macklin Celebrini sticking up for him. Basically wanted to fight everybody. And the Sharks end up behind Klingberg and Toffoli and Celebrini, and all Eklund was there too in the goal scoring side of things. And then if you have not seen the goal that wins this hockey game, the move that John Klingberg makes on Sidney Crosby of all people to make him look as silly as he did to get the tic-tac cross goal to win the game. I suggest you go find it. That was Dan Rusanowski on the Sharks Audio Network, of course. We appreciate Dan always for stopping by on our show. And the Randy Hahn call, too, if you're a TV watcher, too. That was remarkable stuff. But, Tanvir, I know I know you were aware of this result. I don't beg of you to be religiously into the hockey side of things as much as I am potentially. But you can't ignore what this kind of comeback can do to a team. Hopefully they don't lay an egg tomorrow at home against Calgary, because that would be the worst thing in the world. But, man, 5-1 in the third. You give up a goal to start the third period, by the way. It was 4-1. Then it goes 5-1. And then all hell breaks loose in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I never want to hear anybody say that momentum does not matter in any game. Momentum is a real thing, and this is a game that was completely indicative of that. This really shows the San Jose Sharks are on an uphill climb at this point. These are games that you're not necessarily winning if you're the San Jose Sharks of the last couple of years, but an amazing comeback that is probably going to be relived over this entire year.
I mean, people have got to realize the history of the Sharks. When you immediately think of the comebacks, you think of the comeback against Vegas. That was down 3 in the third period in that playoff run in 2019. But outside of that, the Sharks have been a team that, so close but no cigar kind of style of team that just cannot quite get over the hump per se in terms of it. This team, who is ahead of schedule, let's be completely frank about it, is finding ways to win, some unusual ways to win. They don't win normally, that's for sure. But as we speak, as I say words here on this Monday, they are in the second wild card position. They would be in the playoffs if it ended today. You're a little over a third of the way done of this season, and this team is well in a position to advance their agenda of being a young team into being a contending team, into being a team that's buying at the deadline, into being a team that has an ability to get these kids in games like these, playoff-style kind of games, matters. It matters so much, and the Sharks are cashing in on what they're going to look like moving forward. Unfortunately, Will Smith will go on the injured reserve after crashing into the boards in the last game for the Sharks. So they will be missing him. They also are going to be missing Philip Kurashev as well. So we'll see Igor Chernishev and Ethan Cardwell. I have a picture with Ethan Cardwell from a couple years ago. So they're coming in. So the Young Guns are coming to supply some support. But, man, what a game. What a game in Pittsburgh. And the Sharks are now back at home for a few, which, of course, you can listen to on 1430. We have the game tomorrow against the Calgary Flames. But momentum, man, it's so funny to see it play out. And you don't quite know when to expect it, right, Tanvir? Can you think of, like, you ever think of games like that? Like, I don't know, like in football or in soccer or baseball, like just the momentum. Like, I'm trying to think, or like NBA comebacks. I don't know if I really can think of, like, major NBA comebacks like that before. Because really you feel like the game is won whenever it's won as opposed to it. But I'm trying to think of, like, the best comeback feelings in sports in terms of that. I don't know. I'm like trying to think like.
Yeah, I remember the Clippers like choked a game to end a series. I forgot who that was against.
Was that against? I don't want to bring up bad memories. I think the Spurs didn't they?
No, it wasn't the Spurs. No. I'm saying the Clippers blew the lead. I think it was against the Rockets, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was. But that series, I believe they were up 3-1 or something. But the final game that they were going up against the Rockets, where they could have clinched the dub, they just were not able to finish it and ultimately lost that series. But there's definitely been different ways that momentum shifts in a game. I feel like in the NFL, the fourth quarter always shifts momentum regardless of who's up and who's not. But this type of game is indicative of like just an insane shift in momentum and also the mental capacity to go out there and still look for the win, even when you're on the road against the Penguins.
It's like this. It's similar to the bonker. Like, to me, the most closely related thing we've had this year in terms of comeback like this that the Sharks just produced was like Broncos Giants.
Yeah,
like earlier this year, it was like, what just happened? You blink and suddenly the Broncos just won that game in terms of it. So, crazy stuff. Sharks, they're playing tomorrow against Calgary. And if you have not gone to the Shark Tank just quite yet, and you should plan on it. You should definitely plan on it. It has been fun to watch this team develop, fun to watch this team grow. They do not leave you unentertained. It's a hockey group, I'll tell you that. Tanvir, are you looking at a game? You thinking about it?
Yeah, for sure.
Gotta get to San Jose, right?
I'll go to the Shark Tank.
Get to the tank, man.
Twice.
You gotta get to the tank.
Yep.
You gotta get to the tank. So, it's a great building. Also, very 90s nostalgic. It reminds me of like inside a pool house.
Nice.
Like the concrete and then there's like some glass. It just reminds me of that. But like that's why they call it the tank.
Yeah, I appreciate keeping old stadiums and just renovating completely instead of just building new ones.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a bliss to it.
It's good nostalgia. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we got to say who's been naughty and who's been nice ahead of this holiday season for Week 15. We got some big ones. Let's take a break. We'll be right back on 1430.
When you think of California business machines, it wouldn't surprise me if you automatically thought 3-cent color copies. It's something CBM has become locally famous for. But now there's something else business owners are calling about: business phone systems. It's a beautiful thing. Copiers, printers, office phone systems, all with one simple call to California Business Machines. 559-225-5570 or online at cbmsolution.com.
At Clausen Honda in Fresno, you're not just getting a car, you're stepping into a full service experience. From the latest new Honda models to certified pre-owned vehicles, a cafe to grab your morning coffee, and a team dedicated to making you feel respected and well served. Whether you're trading in, buying, or scheduling service for your ride, Clausen Honda has you covered with transparent financing, a full service center. Drive in today and see how easy getting behind the wheel can be. Clausen Honda at 6346 North Blackstone Avenue in Fresno.
It's cold outside. And a good thing, Donald P. Dick has 5-year free financing on a new Lennox system. That's 0% financing and up to 30% energy savings. This isn't a system that costs. It pays. Get 54 years of experience, 12 People's Choice Awards, and Lennox, the best-selling system in the Valley. Affordable, high-quality Lennox. And 5 years of free financing from Donald P. Dick. Call 255-1644.
Back by popular demand, now through December 21st. KFC's got your back this Christmas with their Cajun deep-fried turkey. Fully cooked and Cajun seasoned, it's ready to preheat at home, giving you more time for family and holiday fun. Pre-order a week in advance at participating locations only, including Clovis and Fresno River Park, and pick it up in person. Enjoy it a la carte or as part of a holiday meal or feast with sides like mashed potatoes, gravy, and warm biscuit. Happy holidays from your locally owned KFC.
There's only one. West Coast?
West Coast Exhaust and Off-Road is getting you ready for the season with a $100 alignment special. And every alignment includes a free suspension inspection to keep your vehicle rolling straight and riding smooth. For 20 years, truck and car owners have trusted a crew that truly loves what they do. From tune-ups and oil changes to exhaust work and full custom builds, West Coast Exhaust and Off-Road has you covered. In Fresno, just west of Shaw and Brawley. Or online at westcoastexhaustoffroad.com. Don't forget to check out the 5-star Google reviews.
We started like you, a small team with a big dream to serve the Valley. 20 years later, FFB Bank is still proudly backing businesses across California and beyond. We've learned a lot about what it takes to grow, and now we're using that experience to make things easier for you. With our Switch and Save offer, we'll cover up to 90 days of payment processing, provide no-cost equipment, and offer competitive rates so your business can keep more of what it earns. And behind it all is a local team that truly understands your goals and is ready to help you reach them. Make the switch. Save with FFB. Visit ffb.bank to get started. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Back the birds, Fresno. Don't miss another week of Fresno Pacific University Sunbirds action at the Special Event Center.
Dribbling with the left hand. She's going to fire another three. That one good as well. 3 straight threes on 3 straight possessions.
All games are just $10 for fans 18 and older, 17 and under get in free. Back the birds, Fresno. Catch both men's and women's basketball before the season wraps up. Don't miss the excitement. For schedule and ticket information, visit fpuathletics.com today. See you there.
Citrus season is here, and once again, growers are choosing orange over blue because Kubota means less downtime, easier controls, and better value through the long harvest stretch. When you're racing weather, labor, and time, uptime matters, and Kubota delivers. So, turn to Pioneer Equipment, your authorized Kubota dealer, for the tractors and service they depend on. With Fresno and Reedley locations, Pioneer Equipment, your authorized Kubota dealer, is ready for you this season. Visit Pioneer Equipment, your authorized Kubota dealer, today. Online at PioneerEquipmentCA.com.
You're listening to the home of the San Francisco Giants, KFIG Fresno, 1430 ESPN.
Day after Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes sustained a season-ending torn ACL in his left knee. Coach Andy Reid told reporters an MRI scan revealed he did not have any major damage to other ligaments. We'll get a second opinion on the knee in Dallas. He is expected to have surgery this week. An MRI today confirmed that Packers defensive end Micah Parsons suffered a season-ending torn ACL in his left knee yesterday. Parsons led the league with 64 pressures, according to ESPN Analytics. The next closest Packer in terms of pressure has 38. Losing Parsons, massive, explains ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky.
This is a defense that if you take the pressure element away, it's an okay defense. It's a fine defense, but there's nothing really that scares you about it. They play a certain coverage style that wants to allow you to do that. Hold on to the football, allow Parsons or somebody else because of Micah to go win. Not having Micah there, it's a Super Bowl impact loss.
AFC North leading Steelers home to the Dolphins on Monday Night Football. Kickoff 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. Pittsburgh needing a win to hold on to the division lead. The Colts staying with quarterback Phillip Rivers as their starter next Monday night against the 49ers. Commanders shutting down quarterback Jaden Daniels the remainder of the season. He's missed 6 games with multiple injuries this season. Miami's optimistic that star nickel cornerback Deontay Scott will return from foot injury for the college football playoff matchup against Texas A&M Saturday, noon Eastern, ESPN Radio, ABC, and ESPN. Nebraska quarterback Dylan Raiola plans to enter the transfer portal when it opens next month, reports Thamel. He'll have 2 seasons of eligibility remaining.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Tuesday, we'll react to a huge Monday night game for both the Dolphins and the Steelers. Yes, you heard that correctly. Plus, Adam Schefter joins us at 8 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
He's got the knowledge.
Because once again, I have to come on there and talk about how right I am once again. in anything that it comes to sports.
He's got the questions.
I'm going to lose it. Are you kidding me? What are we doing here?
He's got the guests.
20th head coach in Fresno State history here, Matt. Is it hard to believe sometimes still, the 20th head coach here in program history?
It's all moved really quickly here over the course of the last 5-6 weeks. But super excited to be here.
Phil Bonatti is the voice for the Central Valley sports leader. Behind the Bench starts now. Brought to you by Helena Agri.
That's right. Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN, Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. Hour number 2, if you want to get a hold of us, Lee's Air Hotline, 559-320-1430. Sponsored by Lee's Air Plumbing, Heating, and Roofing. Heating, the emphasis there, folks. So you want to get your heat ready to roll in terms of that. Tim, you want to know what I found in my a growing pile of Google Docs that I have in my computer drive? You want to know what I've just found?
What?
And I may need to calculate who wins this. We have the scheduled drafts from our summer.
Yes.
With you and Julia and I. And I don't know if you have any recollection of how it's gone so far this year for everybody.
I remember I picked the Bucks game at the back end of the draft, and that was a loss. So, yeah. No,
well, we drafted the Bulldogs, we drafted the Rams, we drafted the Niners, and we drafted the Raiders schedule. So
the Raiders one is going to be
comical,
hilarious to see how many negatives we're going to be in.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll save the. I'll give the suspense. I'm going to calculate the Bulldogs one because that's officially formally done.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to do that in the next break. So I'm going to save that little tease for the next break and see who won between you, Julia, and I. I'm sure Julia's just listening right now. I'm just waiting to see if she won. Anyways. All right. Let's do my Who's Been Naughty, Who's Been Nice of the weekend. That is the, proper holiday vernacular now, specifically for this time of year, right? So, time to get to the list. And, Tanvir, where are we starting? We going nice or naughty here?
You know me. Naughty it is again.
Naughty it. All right. Let's play the sad trombone. And let's play the sad trombone for the Dallas Cowboys to start here off the top. Boy, what a way to see their season go in terms of losing to J.J. McCarthy and this Vikings team, a team that had nothing to play for other than, I would say, people say they got nothing to play for, but J.J. McCarthy's got a lot for in that football game for sure. And I think a lot of people will say it looked like he did. It looked like he played like he had a lot to play for in terms of that. And the Cowboys had really no answer in terms of stopping J.J. McCarthy. But on the flip side, how much I've been praising Dak in this offense, the inefficiency inside the red zone, the way the screws got tightened up for the Cowboys in scoring position, to then have to lean on Brandon Aubrey, who missed 2 kicks, by the way, last night, which is shows that he's human. It was an inefficient night offensively for the Cowboys when it came to the scoring territory. And on the flip side, the Vikings, who a couple weeks ago couldn't do anything of worthwhile on offense, shows up, scores 34 in Jerry's World, and essentially eliminates the Cowboys, albeit the Cowboys have one long shot out of winning the NFC East outside of it. But I would say out of all the results, there's a few disappointing ones, but to me, the Cowboys deserve their gripes for just a lack of showing in a big-time stage on Sunday Night Football and seeing their season come to an end, basically.
What an absolutely terrible performance by the Cowboys last night. I think that the defense, regardless of what we want to say about the pickups and how Jerry, I would think that, oh, yeah, I've saved my season, I've saved my butt because I brought Quinnen Williams in. Well, that didn't work out for them. And so now you go into this the next season thinking, are we going to re-sign George Pickens or are we going to try and get help on this defense? And I think that's going to be a very tough decision to come to if you're the Cowboys. I personally would pick up George Pickens, but you saw how that worked out in this game. So Cowboys with one of the, I mean, I'm not going to say in terms of performance because the Vikings defense is good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when you needed a win from this team and they did not give it to you, that's just the story of the Dallas Cowboys this season.
Jerry needs to stop scheduling the primetime games for the Cowboys. Not because it's not that the Cowboys don't, we like, he likes the spotlight. But 1-4-1 in the primetime game this year, Jerry, you take him out of primetime, your team's a playoff team.
That man will never take his team out of prime time.
No, God, no. And they have a Christmas game that nobody will care about that somehow I'll be stuck watching.
Have you seen the Christmas slate?
It's brutal.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's brutal.
You got the Commanders, Vikings, and Cowboys all playing on the Christmas.
Yeah, it's just slop. And the Chiefs, the Minshew Chiefs.
Or the Chiefs, sorry, not the Cowboys. The Chiefs, Vikings, and the Commanders.
Yeah, the Minshew Chiefs get going. God, I hope the Minshew Chiefs beat that Broncos team on Christmas Day. That'd be nice. It won't happen. But anyways, how do you give up 34 to the Vikings when Justin Jefferson goes 2 catches for 22 yards?
Secondary's terrible.
That's just,
simple as that.
It's just insane. Jalen Naylor, who I swear was out of the league by then, 3 catches, 47 yards, 2 touchdowns. First career
He'll pop up here and there.
He'll pop up. Yeah. Anyways, wow. Cowboys. Massive stinker there. Let's go to a Who's Been Ice. And I'll admit it, when you get beat, yes, I know. Thank you, audience. Thank you. My team, when you get beat by a really good quarterback, I got to acknowledge it. I can't run away from it. And when the Bills were down 21-0 to the New England Patriots, I had thoughts of, wow, I can't believe we're going to win the division. I did it. I allowed myself to do it, and I forgot about number 17. And it was snowing, and his superpowers started growing, and so does the snow started falling. And I'll save my criticism of John Hussey's crew for another day in terms of that reffing crew. But I'll admit when I got beat, and the Patriots got beat yesterday in more ways than one in terms of their defensive ability to not have any ability to stop Josh Allen in that offense. And on the flip side, Drake May wasn't particularly great yesterday in terms of his ability to move the football from what I was able to watch. But the Bills come storming back. They're the scariest team when you're down 21-0. It's kind of I kind of want the game to just be a low scoring kind of linger around game. You kind of want the Bills to be in like a little cagey kind of game as opposed to the one of I'm going to beat your brains out for a quarter and then suddenly they're gonna wake up and be the Undertaker. I think there's a legit serious way you need to play the Bills, and it is don't beat them up in the first quarter. So that's my strategy. But all things considered, Josh Allen was incredible. 3 touchdown passes again. He also ran for another. The guy's unstoppable. And I just pray to God that the Patriots still hold on and win this division. They should. They need to win 2 of 3 and not lose to the Jets or Dolphins. And they'd be on their way to a division title.
It's all task, isn't it?
Yeah, Hey, I've had seasons come down to that before, and the Jets and Dolphins ripped my heart out before. So I'm anything's on the table for me.
Yeah, I'm not going to bring up, a certain Dolphins game from a couple years
Ryan
ago.
Fitzpatrick just killed me twice already.
But yeah, Josh Allen, he's becoming. I mean, I've said this so many times over the last couple of weeks. Every time the Bills win, it's because Josh Allen is Superman, and this team is going to go as far as Josh Allen goes. And if Josh Allen is going to be neutralized, that's the way to beat this team. I don't see a way where you can not have Josh Allen have a great game and then you still win that game. So Josh Allen putting together one of the best years of his career. He had an MVP last year, but still, I think still very underrated in terms of the MVP case for sure. I think Drake May and Matt Stafford have kind of ran away with it, but Josh Allen down the stretch has been absolutely amazing, and I think that he is going to continue that. But I said this before, you have no Mahomes, right now no Lamar, and then no Joe Burrow in the playoffs on the AFC side. For his legacy, he has to get to a Super Bowl, and so he has to keep playing like he's playing right now.
I will say the Patriots really missed Milton Williams in that game. We're feeling it now.
Yeah.
The Patriots defense is feeling it in terms of the interior. They don't have Milton Williams. They don't have Will Campbell right now on the defensive side. I think that attributed to Drake not playing very well. on that flip side as well. But when Josh Allen is at the height of his powers, he is as scary as a person. Legit, I'm asking a question. Do you just get cagey a little bit at the beginning of a game against Buffalo, or like?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you have a quarterback like that.
Like when you think of a fight, like a 12-round fight, like you go out swinging the first like 4 rounds. That's what felt like the Patriots did, and suddenly got tired, and then
you got gassed.
Yeah, you get gassed. It's like I kind of felt like that was how it played out.
I mean, this guy playing at the best at his level, I think he's better than any quarterback in the league.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's go to a Who's Benani. I'm going to the Carolina Panthers this week, who, on a platter, a silver, shiny platter, your NFC South Division title was ready for yours for the taking. All you needed to do was beat the Saints at least once this year and go beat the Bucs the next week. And there it is. It's for you. You have the division in your hand. And the Falcons were begging for you to take this division from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by what they did on Thursday. And what do you do in response? You show up and can't get past 17 points against the Saints team, which I think is an underrated team. It's a good – I think it's a feisty – they're like the best bad team out of anybody in terms of if you look at the roster construction, and Tyler Shook is kind of being a guy right now in terms of his clutch ability down the stretch. But, man, you cannot muster past 17 points, especially in situations you were going for it on fourth down, in situations that felt obviously the desperation a little bit. You really needed this game for sure, but Bryce Young in the fourth quarter was just horrendous. 4 for 8 for 5 yards in the fourth quarter. That's all you can do in a close ball game. You can't find a way to complete a ball down the field like you were doing earlier in this game. Way to wilt under the pressure of a game like that with the division title potentially in your hand and in your control. And now you got to beat Tampa Bay twice or you're not going to make the playoffs. And this young Carolina squad is going to be really hurting on this one in terms of the way they handled this game against the Saints.
This team makes absolutely zero sense to me. It's not a team that I have had fun watching because there's no way that you can go out there, win at the Packers, beat the Rams at home, and then lose twice to the Saints. That's just not a team that is ready for a playoff run. And I don't know if there are Panthers fans out there. I might be hurting your feelings, but this is probably the worst loss of the season in terms of a team losing their playoff hopes off of a game that you should have won. I think the loss against the Saints 17-7 earlier on in the year at home was bad, but this was horrible. Not to mention the Panthers had a chance to stop the Saints and send this game to overtime, but an unnecessary roughness call allowed the Saints to get into field goal range after this was going to be a running clock with 8 seconds left. So just terrible performance by the Carolina Panthers, and I think this game is the reason why they won't make the playoffs.
Carolina Panthers have lost 12 straight games as a betting favorite. That is the longest streak by anybody since 1966.
It irks me. It really does. It actually makes me upset because
12 straight losses as a favorite.
You've taken wins off of 2 of the best teams in the league, and you're losing to the Saints.
Which means they're going to win next week because they're going to be an underdog against Tampa. Like it's going to.
If they win out, they beat the Bucs twice, beat the Seahawks. Oh my goodness, I'm going to be so mad.
Man, Tyler Shook, by the way, just another props to him. 13 for 18, 162 yards, and touchdown in the fourth quarter.
And they lost Devin Neal, so he was big in the running game as well.
Is he a guy?
I still don't believe in him.
Do you let that ride for a year if you're the Saints?
Oh, yeah. You let that ride for a year because you have capital and draft capital investment in him. But, yeah, I don't know. You maybe – I don't know
if I'm a Saints fan, I'm like, I'll take 7 next year, 7 wins from Tyler Shook.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Saints fan, you know this is going to be a multiple-year rebuild. So you might as well just go with Shook and try to get, a good team around him.
The guy's a gamer. I like him. I like him a lot. Let's go to my next Ben Nice. Come on. There we go. Thank you, audience. Took a little bit for them to load. I had to go to this Kansas City game, but I think I'm going to give it some more of the props in terms of what the Chargers were able to do this game, 16-13, their victory over Kansas City. And, the defense really has impressed me with the Chargers of late. Secondary is very tough. They are a defense that does, make you really commit to making a decision on whether you want to come across the field or not. They are hard-hitting. They are embodying their coach in some ways as well in Jim Harbaugh. And they closed and slammed the door in more ways than one on the Kansas City Chiefs in a game where really the Chargers of old felt like they would have lost this game. And I know Herbert wasn't great. I know the offense wasn't great. But they did what they needed to do in a hostile environment, a very cold environment. That's a hard game for them to go win on. And so, and it blows my mind that the Broncos are minus 1,000 to win the division when the Chargers are kind of really just sitting there needing just one result from the Broncos the rest of the way. And you could turn the gears and see the Chargers win out and win this division. It only takes one weird loss from the Broncos, and the Chargers are in the controlling of their own destiny for the AFC West. So they hold serve with a nice win over Kansas City, knocking out the Chiefs. They become the first team to sweep the Chiefs since 2014. Nobody's done that to Andy Reid in the Mahomes era since then. So props to the Chargers for getting the job done. Getting the job done. That's what they needed to do.
This has got to be a cathartic victory for the Los Angeles Chargers. This is a team that has terrorized your playoff hopes for the last couple of years. Kansas City has been dominant against the Chargers, and for the Chargers to not only win the game, but they were down in that game off of an early Patrick Mahomes rushing TD, and I felt like maybe the Chargers could give up this game because the Chiefs are looking nice, but the defense, they clamped up. They really pressured Patrick Mahomes, got multiple sacks, multiple pressures on him, and that really messed up the timing for the Kansas City Chiefs offense. And then the Los Angeles Chargers offense did what they needed to do. Having Amari Hampton back is massive. I think that he needs to chill out on the hurdles a little bit because he's just coming off of a broken ankle. But, having him back is going to allow this Chargers team to rely on the rushing attack a lot more. So big win for the Chargers. I am very happy for them.
First consecutive 10-win seasons for the Chargers since 06-07. Been a while. Let's go to my last Benatti. And I am going to the team in Cincinnati, in the Cincinnati Bengals, where one team showed up to play a football game and another didn't even show up to shovel their own seats. In terms of the snow. The Bengals eliminated with the 24-0 loss to the Ravens. What a complete no-show. Maybe the worst no-show of the week in terms of it, from a team that not even since Thanksgiving night, we thought, man, there is a chance, there is a world that this team can come and wreck some people in this National Football League and announce themselves late to this party, and all you're seeing is depression, sadness, and frankly, no response from this locker room, from this team. There is no will to win, and I think the coach has completely lost it from the locker room standpoint. And I really would not be surprised if Zach Taylor is not a head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals very much longer. So I think Zach Taylor deserves to be fired. Joe Burrow, something's got to be figured out there. I'm not a psychologist, so I don't quite know what's going on there. But I would imagine losing football games is not fun in any department. Nobody's asking you to have fun while losing football games, and I imagine Joe Burrow feels like anybody other human that's feeling that way. So just a brutal loss for the Bengals, and there's going to be ramifications from this one for sure.
Yeah, this season has been, I think, torturous to the Cincinnati Bengals team. I thought their draft was not that good, and that really spelled out itself in this game, especially. Joe Burrow and that team putting up a donut against this Ravens defense after putting up 30-something points against them on Thanksgiving night. It's unacceptable, in my opinion, with the level of talent that this team has. And yes, I do believe Zach Taylor will not be the head coach going into next season. But this is organizational malpractice. It's not just the coaching staff. This front office has been very inept with their decisions, and I think this is this whole team is to blame for how bad the Cincinnati Bengals have been. So, horrible loss, and I think that these type of games are the reason that I don't think Joe Burrow will be a quarterback for this team for much longer.
Let's go to the applause for my last been ice. Broncos. The Denver Broncos with the iconic win of the year for them as their team. And Bo Nix, 23 for 34, 303 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. I've been very skeptical of what this Broncos offense could be. It's the one unit I needed to see proving in terms of this year. And they proved it in a down by multiple score situation against the Packer defense that I thought legit was a top 5 defense in this National Football League. Denver goes and grabs the football game by the bull of its horns and makes it happen. I'm convinced now. I think I'm convinced that the Broncos are the scariest team in the AFC outside of maybe Buffalo. I think they're right there with Buffalo. I just get worried about Buffalo in certain game script situations. But it seems like Denver can win any kind of game right now, whatever's thrown at them. And that's a scary team. You try to get in a little bit of a shootout with them, they'll hang with you. You get in a little defensive battle with them, they'll hang with you, and they'll try to win at the end. So Denver's proven more ways differently, and they're undefeated at home now. Still, it's the props to the Broncos. I think they are the highest riser for me in terms of opinion from this game on Sunday.
Yeah, I think when I was so high on the Denver Broncos in preseason, I think this was the version of the Broncos that I was thinking. And once again, after last year, we have a situation where the Denver Broncos start off a little slow, but they really get hot at the end of the season. And I think this is a massive victory for the Broncos, coming back from being 10 points down, and that defense really tightening up towards the back end of that game, even after they were getting kind of torched in the passing game especially. So this team is a Super Bowl contender for me, and this game not only solidified it, but it really put credence to what I was trying to say about this team at the start of the year. This is a team that should be the team to beat in the AFC, and I think that minus 1,000 odds to win the division, I think it's right because of how good this defense is in and how good this offense is starting to come around.
Yeah. They're my favorite to make the Super Bowl out of the AFC right now.
Same for me.
For sure. Broncos, Rams. Wouldn't that be something? In Santa Clara.
Yeah, that would be something. Broncos possibly trying to win another Super Bowl in Levi's. That would be interesting.
Just make it their building, right? No, I'm kidding. All right. Let's take a break. That's my Who's Been Oddies, Who's Been Nice of the Week. We'll take a break. Let's talk a couple more storylines here. Get you closer to Monday Night Football. Stay with us on 1430 ESPN.
Football fans, it's Phil Benatti telling you to bring your tailgate and your holiday cooking to Championship Farm with a trip to your local grocery outlet in Kerman, Sanger, and Fresno Southeast, downtown, and Northwest stores. Hurry into these grocery outlets and stock up now on holiday hams and turkeys, fresh produce, baking essentials, party platters, snacks, and drinks. Everything you need for the big game or the big gathering. That's top quality products at deep discount, money-saving prices. Score big this season at Grocery Outlet, Kerman, Sanger, and Fresno Southeast, downtown, and Northwest stores.
Building a new warehouse? Adding on to your existing warehouse for more space? The boys from Fresno Rack and Shelving can help, because that's what they do. Fresno Rack's design department can help optimize your warehouse storage capabilities and increase your productivity with a large local stock of pallet racking, industrial parts shelving, in-house permitting, and installation departments. Fresno Rack and Shelving is the choice for you. Call or visit FresnoRack.com today.
Want to work somewhere fun, flexible, and rewarding? Me and Ed's is hiring. We're looking to expand our team with full and part-time positions at over 40 locations. Join our growing company as a delivery driver or valued team member today. For more information on job descriptions or to apply, go online at meandeds.com or visit your nearest location. Me and Ed's is hiring. Fill out an application.
Winter's here. Cold, wet, and no chance to train outside. With school out soon and baseball still rolling, it's the perfect time to get inside and get better at Elite Performance Center in Clovis. Elite offers indoor batting cages, drills, clinics, and one-on-one lessons with top coaches, travel ball standouts, former D1 athletes, MLB vets, and Fresno State softball players. Don't wait on the weather. Schedule your winter training today. Individual sessions and full team rentals available. Find Elite on Barstow just east of Clovis Avenue or at ElitePerformanceCenterCA.com.
Banyan Tree is bringing the holiday cheer with festive deals and premium products that make every celebration brighter. This is your one-stop shop for lifted seasonal vibes. Stock up for parties, gift-giving, or a little holiday unwind. Step inside and experience a warm, welcoming holiday atmosphere you won't find anywhere else. Great prices, quality brands, and freshness you can count on all season long. Make your holidays high-spirited with Banyan Tree. Visit BanyanTreeFresno.com for locations and holiday hours.
Are you tired of waiting forever for your prescriptions? Grizzly Pharmacy is here to tame your healthcare needs. We fill most prescriptions in 15 minutes or less, always accepting new patients, and enjoy free delivery to your home or workplace in Fresno and Clovis. We accept all major insurance, including Medi-Cal, Blue Cross, and Optum Rx. For our Fresno location, please call 559-424-0423 or visit grizzlypharmacy.com for more information.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Come on, one more rep. You got this.
10.
There it is. Nice work, man. You're a beast.
Thanks, man. I feel better than I have in years. And I got to tell you, taking Nugenix makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas. The Big Hurt, right?
Oh, yeah. This is a legit product. The key ingredient is Testofen, which helps boost free testosterone levels and increase lean muscle mass.
Well, it's clearly working for you. Hey, are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, Nugenix is a great way to increase lean muscle and feel stronger with more energy and endurance.
Man, I need to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix.
No problem. You just got to send them a text. Text BEACH to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Nugenix samples are not available in stores, so text BEACH to 42424 right now. Text BEACH to 42424. Text BEACH to 42424.
The bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader, here on this Monday, Reaction Monday. I'm doing some final math here, Tim Veer, so I'm trying to get our scheduled draft results to us all in terms of it. Let me see if I can do a last minute computations in terms of it. Fresno State beats San Jose, so 41 minus 14 is 27, correct? Is that correct?
Yes.
You might be running away with this according to my calculations here, because I think you're the only one without a loss. I'm looking at it here. Yeah, you went 4-0.
I'm him. Let's go.
Yeah, I might not even need to do the calculation, but unless you want to really know how much you won by here.
Well, yeah, I just want to know like the point differential. Probably.
Yeah, so what's 28 plus 27, which is like 52?
50. Wait, what?
Well, hold on.
You said 28 plus 27.
Yeah.
That's 55.
55. You're at plus 60 because you had Nevada, you had Georgia Southern, you had San Jose State, and you had the Hawaii game.
Okay.
Plus 60. Tanvir, by far, you are the winner of our Fresno State schedule draft this year.
May I have a round of applause?
Let me get it. Let me get the crowd rounded up here real quick. There you go.
Let's go
for you. I finished second. Wow, I had a complete wash in one of them. That's funny. So if I do the math here, I finished with a plus 38 point differential. It was closer.
Okay.
It was closer.
You were, what, 3-1?
2-2.
2-2, okay.
Because I had the Southern game. That was a 49-point difference in the favor of the Bulldogs. I had the Boise State game, which ended up being a really nice game to draft.
Right, yeah.
Plus 23. But I had a minus 23 in the San Diego State game, and I had a minus 11 in the Utah State game. Let's see if I can do the math on air. For Julia, who ended up, she had plus 30 for her two wins, but she had minus, 53. Minus 53 in her
Negative
losses.
23.
Negative 23 is where
on a
Julia
1-3, 2-2.
2-2 record.
Gotcha.
Because Julia ended up having the Kansas game, and the Colorado State loss is a big one. They had the Wyoming win and the Oregon State win. So for Julia, you get, for finishing last, minus 23 on the scheduled draft there.
Tough.
Yeah. All right. There you go. People have been long waiting for it. I feel like I should do the calculations of the other games, but we're going to wait until the final results because we have the Raiders, Rams, and Niners scheduled drafts here sitting. So they're going to they're going to go back to the top of my pile of Google.
The recent documents?
The recent documents sitting back on the top of my pile there. I want to just address a couple more storylines before we start wrapping up the hour here in the National Football League. And I think it's apt to pay attention to him now, of course. And we are dancing around the topic, of course, with some of our recapping. But it's hard to not, and we'll frame it under the injury report, brought to you by Davison Van Wagenen. If you're injured, call Davison Van Wagenen, who helps represent the best representation you can find in the Central Valley in terms of personal injury. And if you get hurt at work or anything like that, go contact our friends at Davison Van Wagenen today. Patrick Mahomes, as you know, torn ACL, that is officially confirmed.
Yep.
It sounded like not as bad of structural damage overall as they may have feared. So it sounds like it is a clean break of the ACL, and that'll take the recovery it needs to. In terms of that, not as gruesome as the Brady injury. Brady injury, I think, had all of them.
Yeah, all three.
All three. Gone. See you later. Micah Parsons also, by the way, the torn ACL yesterday. Under the guise of that real quick, I do really think in the short term, the Micah Parsons injury is the more interesting one to talk about.
Yeah.
Based off of its impact. But in terms of the long-term topic and conversation, the Mahomes one has that sort of interest sitting in it in terms of the ramifications of, has it essentially ended Travis Kelce's career in a sense of, is he retiring at the end of the year? Is he going to think it's worth waiting around for his quarterback to potentially come back from this injury, which I think, according to what people are saying, Mahomes would not be able to get back into the start of the season. I would like to see it before I believe it, because I know Patrick Mahomes is certainly one to want to start at week one.
I think he'll be back like a month before the season starts. I know this is
it's
late
not
in
guaranteed.
The year. No, of course it's not guaranteed. And I'm no medical expert, but I also think that the severity of the injury combined with how much time is left until next year starts, I think 9 months recovery, I think with his his know-all and him wanting to be back, I think he'll be back.
His game's different though.
For sure, yeah.
It's like, I think of quarterbacks who tore their ACL and all that stuff. And it was totally understandable that Brady was just gone as soon as he tore his ACL, all that, in the year he did. There's another quarterback that tore his ACL and ended up playing the next week. And I'm thinking of Phillip Rivers in 2007, if you recall. I don't know if you recall this, Tanvir. Phillip Rivers tore his ACL against the Colts in the divisional round. And he ended up with a knee brace, basically knowing he couldn't make it any worse. Played it in the AFC Championship game against the New England Patriots on a torn ACL. And those, but he's a stationary guy. You don't expect Phillip Rivers to just run around with the torn ACL like he's just going to be in the pocket, do what he does. And honestly, they gave the Patriots a pretty good run in that AFC Championship game in 2007. But Mahomes is not that kind of player. He is not stationary in the pocket guy. He is instinctual in terms of where he can run, in terms of what he can do physically. And that's what I think is the thing that they have to guardrail against Patrick Mahomes the most. Me talking about the Chiefs here is that's the conversation that needs to be had, is the protection against himself, because I just don't know what kind of player he can be after this in terms of the mobility, in terms of his ability to get into end zones, outrun some defenders. You see him just getting a step ahead of all these different tacklers all the time on the field, and it's so frustrating because they can't just quite grab Patrick Mahomes as much. I don't know if they're converting those kind of plays anymore if he's dealing with knee injuries down the stretch, and including this one where he's going to have to recover from, and he's going to have to fully recover from. I would imagine the Chiefs go extra caution here when it comes to their quarterback. I just wonder if Mahomes is going to have that caution himself for this injury, because we know how much of a gamer he is and how much he wants to battle. But The Chiefs are at a serious crossroads right now in terms of this injury.
Yeah, I also think that with Patrick Mahomes, yes, sure, yeah, the scramble ability is there, but I also think that he's transformed his game over the last couple of years from going from like a gunslinger quarterback that can go out of the pocket and just throw absolute bombs to a guy that more or less is not relying more so, but he is a pocket passing guy that can also run. He trusts the system a lot more. He knows how to break down defenses a lot better nowadays than he would earlier on in his career. And so I think from that perspective, I think it won't affect him as much because I still think that the way that he plays the game now is less like a Lamar Jackson and more like a Joe Burrow, for instance. And so I honestly think that Patrick Mahomes will be fine coming out of this. I think the more pressing situation is the things around him, the pieces around him. As you said, Travis Kelce, probably this is not his last year, next year will for sure be his last season. But around that, Rashee Rice, you don't know what's going to come out with the situation that he's been in. Obviously been suspended for this year. Again, that's not my place to talk about whatever happened, but still, Xavier Worthy not playing as good as he did last year, and obviously that's because Xavier Worthy is not like the number one guy, and I'm not really enamored with the other guys around him, Marquise Brown, Noah Gray, Juju Smith-Schuster. I think that this, and the running game, let me tell you, the running game for the last 6 years has been masked by Patrick Mahomes and his greatness. They have not had a 1,000-yard rusher for the last 8 years. And so Brett Veach and that front office is going to have to do a massive job in turning this team into a contender again. And I'm not saying they can't get there because Patrick Mahomes is still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but you're going to have to rely less on Patrick Mahomes being Superman like the Bills are doing with Josh Allen and build a core around Patrick Mahomes so that he can go out there and win games.
To me, Mahomes himself, I think, can be I sit and I think, okay, what's he like? Is he going to get that extra step anymore? Like at 31 when he comes back from that injury, it's a drastic change in terms of that. But in terms of the Chiefs and in terms of what they are and what they can be, this has been a team that's not been on schedule on offense all year already. With Mahomes healthy.
They haven't been for the last 2 years.
So, him missing an entire offseason, OTA, all of the important things in terms of what he can do with new guys coming in, which I don't know how the Chiefs, where do you address things with the Chiefs? That, you draft more linemen and hope they hit? But that's not helping the lack of ability this receiver core hasn't been able to get open for. There's so much rotting at the surface of what the Chiefs have been. Let's be frank. Last year we saw the signs. It was just they were winning the games. And frankly, I don't know if last year really gave them the fool's gold that they thought they had going into this year, where then suddenly all the glaring issues stood in front of it. And now you have a quarterback that's not going to have any time with those guys coming in. And you're asking them to be on schedule and be as precise as they can be as an offense out there when they haven't been able to show that since, 23 when they beat the Niners. That's the last time I sat there and looked at this Chiefs team and said, that's an elite team winning football games.
I want to just look at the guys that we have anointed as the top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL over the last couple of years. That's Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. And every one of those teams have a similarity in them in where their front office, yes, you are pouring money to these quarterbacks, but there is ways to make a team better without just signing millions of dollars of free agents. And this is where I think teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, the Los Angeles Rams, the San Francisco 49ers do such a good job of turning draft picks that they get into stars, and they can get production out of those guys. If you look at the Eagles, they've surrounded Jalen Hurts with guys like Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, while spending money on those guys. The 49ers with Brock Purdy, they have George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. The Rams have done a phenomenal job of turning Puka Nacua, who was a late round or middle round draft pick, into a guy for them. And the Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, and the Bengals have all not done that. You have defenses that are not playing up to the level they can be, because the coaching staffs are just not good enough. And so that's where I think there is a difference with those 4 teams especially, and you can't necessarily rely on just that guy or those guys to do it for you. You have to be an all-encompassing team that has a good defense, that has a good receiving core, that has a good offensive line. And these 4 front offices are not doing that for them, and I think that the Chiefs are just another example of that.
Patrick Mahomes finishing this year with his career high in rushing yards and rushing TDs, and that is probably something that is not something you should probably repeat. It's a Chiefs team.
Yeah, that's more of a negative than a positive.
It's a negative more than a positive in turn. 442 yards for Mahomes on the ground and 5 touchdowns through the ground as well. And I think it goes back to your point, Tanvir. It's why Josh Allen's probably, I would argue, the better talent.
I mean, we could argue better talent or not, right?
Yeah.
But both of these guys are in the same situation.
Yeah.
And these front offices think that the quarterback, you could just put whoever out there and it'll be fine. Like, that's just not the case. I still think Patrick Mahomes is better than Josh Allen, slightly. But Josh Allen, at his peak, to me, has been better than Patrick Mahomes. That still doesn't change the situations that these guys are in.
I would say here, your team's up for drive on the line, quarterback on the line. I'd fear Josh Allen more than.
And I think I would fear Patrick Mahomes just because of who he is, and he has shown that he can do that in the past.
But it is about the sum of the parts around it as well, and
exactly
what they're showing. Can I, before we take a break, can I just give a quick little shout out to Philip Rivers this weekend? Just a little one.
You can give a shout out to him now. I just hope you don't give a shout out to him next week.
I've already started my trolling a little bit for the Niner fans out there in terms of it, and my Niner friends who are there. I just, man, what juicy radio that'll produce on Tuesday if the Niners end up following that. Unfortunately, I think I'm off that Tuesday, so I'd have to sit on that one for a week, a whole week. So maybe you're just going to get the ire of it from text, Tanvir.
I'll get the ire of it from everybody, not just you.
Is that a I leave the group chat if we lose kind of game?
I think there's many other games that the Niners have lost where I could have done that. I don't think a loss to Phillip Rivers and this Colts team is going to do that to me at this point.
18 for 27, 120 passing yards, a touchdown, and INT. Did he surpass or meet your expectations against that Seahawks defense?
I actually think he did pretty well for himself, and I think that in terms of the opponent, he actually surpassed my expectations because the Seattle Seahawks defense is very good.
Put him in a position to win.
Exactly. He gave him the lead with like 40 seconds left.
It was the classic Phillip Rivers.
Exactly.
Team gave him the lead, and the defense let him down.
Exactly. But yeah, with the team that they have right now, there was a point in that game where Phillip Rivers tried to escape the pocket and it just did not look good at all. And so that really put it back into my mind that this guy is, however old he is, 40-plus years old. But, yeah, I was still happy with the performance that he had.
I love it. I football's supposed to be fun. And props to Phillip Rivers putting himself out there. He's putting himself out there, and he had a really good quote in the post game. He got really emotional, talking about, just not quitting, kind of in that situation. And you never know what's going to happen in situations like that. And got a little emotional. It was really cool to see. I just love having Phillip Rivers back in our lives right now in terms of it.
I agree.
You know what? I hope he was mic'd up in that game. I hope we get mic'd up Phillip Rivers one more time, one more go around. Give it to me.
Man, I wish we had a Phillip Rivers versus Joe Flacco. The unction would be back.
We could man, that would have been cool if we got no, never mind. I say it in cool in concept, but I don't know if I would like Phillip Rivers versus Aaron Rodgers in the playoff round. I'm trying to think of how that would have happened, but no. What are the Colts still stat? They still have the Niners.
Niners, Jags, Texans. So it's going to be Stroud, Purdy, and T-Law.
All right. Well, I'm gonna cherish those 3 games.
I will too. Hopefully not the next one though.
All right. Let's take a break. Let's wrap up this show. Let's preview Dolphins Steelers next on 1430 ESPN.
Now that you've gathered all your landscaping ideas at the Fall Home Show, swing by Clovis Stone Masonry and Landscape Supply to bring them to life. Hey contractors and DIYers, Paul Metters here. Clovis Stone is the Valley's go-to playmaker with 6 acres of premium materials ready to roll. Whether you're building big or dialing in the details, Clovis Stone has what you need when you need it. With 24-hour delivery, fast call-ahead pickup, you can stay on schedule and on budget. Step on the lot today off Sunnyside in Old Town Clovis or online at clovisstone.net.
At Helena Agri-Enterprises, we're committed to helping you make the best agronomic decisions for your farm. That's why we combine cutting-edge technology with superior products. Helena's agri-intelligence solutions use in-depth analysis to identify potential problems in the field before they take root. Combined with a complete line of high-quality crop production and crop protection inputs, Helena has the tools to help you increase productivity, enhance performance, and maximize your return on investment. Contact your local Helena representative or authorized dealer to create the right plan for your farm with Helena products and agri-intelligence solutions.
At Chopped Cheese Bodega in Fresno, community comes first, always. This season, they're spreading holiday cheer by having one of Fresno's largest toy drives. Drop off a new unwrapped toy at their Blackstone and Bullard location today. Then come back December 21st from 3 to 6 p.m. to join Santa and Mrs. Claus for the toy distribution. And maybe a few surprises from the North Pole. Happy holidays from Chopped Cheese Bodega.
The sound of bees means lots of blooms, and lots of blooms means a profitable crop year. Those delicate blooms can easily be destroyed by adverse weather conditions, which in turn can be devastating to your crop investment. Now is the time to secure multi-peril crop insurance, which covers your almond crop during bloom. Bowman & Associates, your local crop insurance specialist, has been writing crop insurance for almost 40 years. Bowman & Associates is one of the largest crop insurance agencies in the state and nation. Call Roger Kent or Quinn Bowman today and ask about their multi-peril crop insurance for almonds. Bowman & Associates can design a policy with protection based on your own production experience. Ask about the new Price Option Plus, which increases the insurance price per pound to make it closer to the market price of almonds. Deadline for multi-peril coverage is December 31st. Call Bowman & Associates at 499-2020. That's 499-2020. California Department of Insurance license number 0F64178.
Bowman & Associates, the crop insurance specialists.
Quick, where can you find a great selection of Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Serta, and Mattress First bedding? Easy. The same place you'll find adjustable beds, sheets, pillows, mattress protectors, and more. Sleep Retreat, Inside Fashion Furniture. It's the same place you'll find 150 recliners, custom upholstery, leather sectionals, dining furniture, and even office furniture, not including thousands of decorating ideas that you're really gonna love. Fashion Furniture on El Paso, across from River Park. There's nothing like it in all of California.
So winter's officially here, and the last thing you want is your house cold and your furnace sounding like it's auditioning for a beatboxing competition. That's why Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating is running their $99 furnace tune-up special. It's the perfect time, because nobody wants to see their breath inside the house. And let's be honest, layering 3 jackets indoors isn't festive, it's desperate. So get ahead of the cold. Schedule your $99 furnace tune-up today at leesair.com. That's leesair.com. Happy holidays from your locally owned and operated Lee's Air and Heating. CLN 635-355.
Hustle up, we've got 8 more floors to go before lunch.
Sarusha's window washing business is reaching new heights.
Wipe, and let's roll.
They need more certified cleaners to keep online reviews crystal clear.
Team, I know we're hustling, but watch for streaks. Candace, can you give me a hand over here?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Back to Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN, Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. Final segment before we hand it off to Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Daily Spread brought to you by Chick-Chancey Gold Resort and Casino. If you're not trying your luck with your teams, try your luck with Chick-Chancey Gold Resort and Casino today. Looking at the Monday Night Football game tonight, final game of Week 15. The Dolphins are in Pittsburgh against the Steelers, and I would have said 4 weeks ago, I thought this game should be flexed out of Monday Night Football, keep it away. It's not as scintillating a matchup as it should be, but it got a little more interesting in terms of what the Dolphins have done sneakily the last 4 weeks here in terms of a win streak. It's not a murderer's row of teams that the Dolphins have beaten over the last 4 weeks, but they're doing the job, getting the job done in terms of it. Steelers 7-6, Dolphins 6-7. Slim playoff hopes for the Dolphins. I would say pretty good playoff hopes for the Steelers, considering what the division looks like. Baltimore bouncing back, though. The idea that this Dolphins team can win 5 in a row, and in terms of crazy idea record, that the Dolphins are only 4-15 against opponents over 500 under Mike McDaniel, since 2022, which is the 5th worst record over that span, leads you to believe that this Pittsburgh team has a chance to win tonight in terms of what they're doing. And the Pittsburgh is so hard to figure out in terms of a team, because to pinpoint based off of the volatility of their performances and the volatility of what they're going to get out of their quarterback and what they're going to get out of their defense. And one factor going against the defense tonight is the idea that TJ Watt is out tonight. He, collapsed lung? From dry needling, whatever that is. Sounds horrible. But somewhat therapeutic, I guess, for some people. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Regardless, that's a concern for me for Pittsburgh, especially when they have to go against what I think, can I declare, I think Devon Achane is probably the best player in this game tonight. Devon Achane, if I'm going to say honest, the best player on both sides of the ball playing in this game tonight. And generally, when you have the best player, you should win the football game. And that is why I'm going to pick the Dolphins at a spread of +3 on the road as underdogs. I think the Dolphins do get it done in a cold Pittsburgh. I think it's 21 degrees. But I trust that Devon Achane is going to have a good game tonight, and the Steelers' defense is going to struggle to stop him.
Yeah, the Dolphins had a little bit of a scare coming into this. I thought Devon Achane was not going to play, but thankfully he will play. Steelers coming into this as 3-point favorites, I think. And I think that this team has been as confusing as the Carolina Panthers just because of the way that this team can play when they are clicking on all cylinders is like they can definitely compete with any team out there. My issue is now you're starting to lose some guys. Roman Wilson's going to be out for this game too. Not saying that he's like some massive receiver for the Steelers, but he's another weapon for Aaron Rodgers out there. This Dolphins team has been actually very good against the pass this season, and they've really cranked it up over the last couple of weeks. So I also have the Dolphins winning this game. I think they beat the spread, and I think the Steelers team, the entire AFC North at this point is going to be trying to claw their way into the playoffs, all sitting at 7 wins or less.
I think they've really, the Dolphins themselves have really kind of neutered Tua's ability to destroy a football game, leaning on the run game as well. Tanvir, we're going to pick for history here. We're picking against history in terms of the cold weather. The Dolphins have lost 13 such games at a sub-40 temperature at kickoff. That's the longest streak since they recorded those kind of records since 2000 of temperatures. They have not won since Week 16 in Buffalo in 2016. So all streaks come to an end. That's kind of where I'm at. And I believe the Dolphins are capable of doing so. Tuo's 0-5. But like I said, I think this is the best running game he's had in his tenure, despite everything. Here are your top, or quote, bottom 5 guys who are in NFL history with sub-40 temperatures at kickoff. You ready to hear him, Tanvir? Tua's at the 5th worst QBR at 27.8. Then at the bottom of the list, it goes Tua, then Derek Carr, then Drew Lock, then Rex Grossman, then Trent Edwards. Those are some names in cold temperature.
Some names indeed.
Some
names of all time.
I am picking the Dolphins. You are picking the Dolphins. So surely we will come in tomorrow.
And the Steelers
will win and be 8-6, and it'll be that. So just how the NFL works, right, Timber?
Yep. We say it, and the other opposite happens.
Thank God I don't have a fantasy anything going on. No Pittsburgh.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, I had a really good week at picks this week.
Yeah, there you go.
I think I only missed 2.
Yeah.
The Commanders, Giants, and the Cowboys, Vikings game.
I was not so successful, so I'd have to look back on mine. But your boy's moving on in the playoffs. That's all that cares in the postseason there for fantasy. All right, y'all. Monday Night Football coming up next. Enjoy the game live in Pittsburgh. We'll be back tomorrow, 3 o'clock. See you then.